We have like 10 minutes left in class. And we're talking about the essay, and who's ever joining us on video is only catching the tail end of it, but that's okay. I'm going to share with you the document we're all looking at on the board, which is this one. We talked about passion. You want to be like, you don't make a verbal hint at bragging about all the stuff that they're doing. Activities list, that's where you brag. It's a brag sheet. Your essay is soft sell. Modesty goes a lot further, right? You don't brag at all. That's not likable. Have you ever heard somebody brag and after say, geez, I really like that guy? No. You know what I mean? It's usually we say the exact opposite. Bragging is the easiest way to get people not to like. You do. Way to do this is with before and after pictures. Okay, so before I used to be like this. Now I'm like that. I'm going to read you. We have a before and an after, especially in the second one. Then one of the last things you do is you can throw in some subtext. You can talk about some of your impressive, like in passing. And you'll see like why. And it's called Scotty, You Talk Too Fast. And it's about this kid. Basically, if you asked him, if you met him freshman orientation, say, yo, what did you write your essay on? He would say, my exchange trip to Argentina. Okay. That's really not what he wrote. That's his main story. But we find out along the way, he's close with his family. He talks to his grandmother still as well as his parents. He's passionate about language. He tutors math students in Spanish. He was looking forward to mastering Spanish by taking entire classes in Spanish. Newspaper column. We find out all of this. You're like, whoa, how did he do that? You'll see. And all of it is under the radar. So he's a master. We'll learn from him. And then I talked about this one already. Use metaphors. Use metaphors, this one. And language appropriate to your content. And then it needs to be grammatically and stylistically perfect. That's more my job than yours. Let me read you two really good examples. And I want you to listen for these elements. So listen. Do I hear passion in here for his topic or her topic?
Have you read all the essays in there?
No. I've read a good number of them, though. This is my favorite of the ones I've read. And it happens to be the first one, so that probably means it's their favorite, too. Ask yourself, do I hear the passion? Is this kid likable? Would I want freshman orientation? Pretty sure you would. Is it show and not tell? Does it reveal introspection? Is there a before and after picture? This one is obvious. The answer is yes to all these, by the way. Is there subtext? Do we learn some of his impressive accomplishments without him bragging? Yes. Does he use metaphors? Not so much, but the girl does. And it's grammatically perfect. Here it goes. It's called... Okay, so here we go. It started with my grandmother. You're going to have to speak more slowly, honey, she would say, interrupting me if we spoke on the phone. I hadn't viewed my grandmother, a frail elderly woman, as a credible gauge of my intelligibility. Her hearing must be failing, I thought. I don't understand a word you're saying, he exclaimed over dinner, flecks of food flying from his mouth. I understand him just fine. It's your hearing that must be off. And then, one day, the dam broke. I'm sorry, Scotty, my mom said with a tinge of regret in her voice. You speak too fast. I have no idea what you're saying. The transition had happened over the course of months. Whose language was only understood by someone from... But I remained incredulous. Here's focus more, I thought. I was speaking at a perfectly appropriate speed. Okay. 4 months ago, I traveled to Argentina to be a high school exchange student. I was excited at the prospect of attending classes entirely in Spanish. Brilliant way of bragging without bragging, right? Who's excited about attending class entirely in Spanish? A language geek. Good. In school, I made many Argentine friends, but speaking quickly to them seemed to be a sport. Suddenly, I was the one who was struggling to extract words from their slurred discourse. What are you doing? Start. That well was a wind-up before a long head-first dive. We, clubs, night, but if pizza, then can't park, look, dawn. Right, and it's separated with ... So it's genius, right? Language teacher's like, what the? Like, slow down, all right? Suddenly, I was the one who didn't speak the language. For 5 years, I'd studied Spanish. I'd taken classes, read Spanish, but none of that had prepared me to speak the language of the Argentine high school student. So notice all the stuff flying under the radar there, right? I mean, it doesn't sound like he's bragging at all. Like, it didn't work. Like, I couldn't understand. At school, I tutored math students in Spanish. None of it helped. Right? Genius. Okay. But eventually I began to sound like my grandmother. I would ask the inevitable question. It's great. The essay comes full circle. Are you sure there's nothing wrong with your hearing? By the end of 7 weeks, more Argentine high school Spanish. Does he say I matured as a result of my trip? No, he shows us a before picture. Parents, adults just need to focus more. I thought I'm speaking perfectly appropriate. California, I try to slow down as much as possible in their presence. Is what sets human beings apart. Only through clear communication can I connect with others. I need to hear what people say, and I need to be heard. Whether it be in my monthly newspaper column or in daily conversation, my words can have power. Perhaps words can persuade someone to stand up for an ideal. And to be understood, to speak the language of the people that surround us. And sometimes that means slowing down our speech just a little bit. Let's just come full circle. Now we enter the killer anecdote. In my a recent immigrant from Mexico who's struggling to learn English. He's recently been placed into mainstream English classes and ask him, nightmare, he tells me in Spanish. Why is it so difficult, I ask. Well, you wouldn't understand, Daniel says with an embarrassed tone. Tell me, I say sympathetically. Well, it's just that I know the English, I know the words she's saying, but she says them so fast. He trails off. I look at Daniel and smile with commiseration. I understand exactly what you mean.
That's only 650 words?
It might be a little longer. This is old school. But you get the idea. He's likable. It's passionate. We find out he's really, you can tell this guy's going to be a language major, English. He writes the school newspaper. He plays well with other kids in the sandbox. He's a family kid, right? That's a lot in a short space. Would you agree? It's a nice essay. You don't look like you loved it. It's okay.
Cliche.
It's cliche?
The part before the anecdote, and he was like, "Oh, communicate with," like, I hate that stuff.
Oh, really? Oh, like we have to use the words in the language. Yeah, that comes at the end, and that was a little heavy-handed. I agree with you, but hey, he's 18.
That's why I have trouble because like all the ones I've read, I feel like they're all so cliche.
I don't know. I
have to put some.
You have to get something. All right, this one is absolutely not cliche. This is written by my good friend Kayla Saltoff, who gave me permission to use this in my book. So I'm going to share it with you now. And I'm going to put it on the board just so you can see it. Okay? And then we're out of here. I know it's 4 o'clock, but you want to hear this. Okay? This is a badass. This is a good one. All right. So let's see. Don't know if you come up with a really clever one like she did. Yes, this one's called Cinnamon Toast. I want to go back to a time when our jeans weren't so tight and when our shoelaces were untied. Don't forget, this is an art student. Okay? When our hair was untamed and the only toothpaste we used was strawberry flavored. when I thought the words to Simon Tov and Mazel Tov were cinnamon toast and Mazel Tov. I want to go back to when my only fear was that if I climbed too high, because I'm realizing how short the tree really is. And innocence. When I was 13, my wardrobe consisted primarily of baggy exercise shorts and khaki cargo pants with enough pocket space to carry around all my insecurities. Genius line right there. By 15, the colors and hues of my wardrobe, notice she's talking colors and hues, right, metaphors and language appropriate to art, had multiplied. My shorts became tighter, and I was able to paint my time my mother finally won an argument in which the term tomboy was indiscriminately bandied about, I found myself shopping for girl clothes. The changing room marked the first spot where I was in a space solely dedicated to girls. As I slowly tucked each of my legs into the denim pant legs, I could feel the skinny jeans forcing my innocence deep into my pores. Pulling on these pants served to strip away childhood memories and to make room for teenage angst. It sucked out the last drop of simplicity. The pockets decreased in size, becoming much too small to hold my growing list of uncertainties. Little did I know that the purchase of these pants came with a free coupon for an indifferent attitude, a realization that I would have to deal with coloring in the face in the mirror before leaving for school, how to deal with a broken heart, and even thoughts of human mortality. What finally made this impossible transition possible, what finally made those jeans fit, was the realization that through art, I can carry the kid in me right to in my heart leaps up when I behold a rainbow in the sky. There's some British poetry for you. Through art, I can revisit the free flights of fancy of my youth. I paint acrylic and watercolor portraits that seek to evoke personality and heart more than reveal physical characteristics. I draw cartoons of animal activist pigs and shark therapists. I use colored pencils to create a rainbow chain of pandas. I've discovered that through art, I can still be the girl with untied shoes. I can still visit places where there are no limits.
That
was
And it's not. It's only 500 words.
It's 500 words. Was that cliche?
That's so Kayla. Like, it's
Right? Now,
like
here's
Kayla.
what I'm going to say in the book about this. What I like best about this is it's so Kayla. Like, it creates that photograph. And, like, it absolutely conveys how she is. She's like a kid in a young woman's body who wants to be a kid. And what art school isn't going to want this? All right, so this is where it can really help. So, does it show and not tell? Yes. All right. There's a before and after. The before is kind of Peter Pan. I refuse to grow up. And the after is, okay, I can grow up as long as art can connect me to my childhood. Right. So all of those elements we talked about are in here. So I hope that helps. And we'll do it all again tomorrow. Any questions about that? Are you all intimidated or inspired? Sometimes it's hard. Both, I know. All right, good.
Should I email you? Do you want me to like email you or share my activities? Or just wait till tomorrow?
Either way, yeah, you can email them. I'm not going to look at them before tomorrow, but you're first up tomorrow. Yeah, you're first up tomorrow, Mal. Okay? And then Christian and who else? And Andrew. You're tomorrow too. So you want to finish those up tomorrow if you haven't done them.
I have 8 now.
Good for you.
How many do you want? 10?
How many do you want? I want a minimum of 6. So you've satisfied my minimums, but do you have any others that you need?
Yeah.
All right, good. So do 2 more. He's doing well. All right, let me end this video so our conversation isn't recorded. Okay, stop. Bye, everyone.